Hi, and welcome back. Now, let's talk about team formation. The classic model of team formation was the forming, storming, norming, and performing model. That was proposed sometime, I think, in the 60s or early 70s. Now, that model has had its critics, but largely it seems to work pretty well. It describes roughly the stages that people go through in forming a team. In the forming stage, the newly formed teams, they're the norm. In the formation, the team meets, gathers information about the task in each other, and decides how to approach the task. At this stage, everybody's likely to be acting independently. You probably have people talking at cross purposes, talking at the same time. Everybody wants to be heard. There's not a lot of useful activity going on, but there's a lot of activity. The teams really don't become productive immediately or by magic. But there is this forming stage where the team, the people get together and form the team. Now, the next stage is the storming team. It sounds horrible. It sounds like everybody's having a fight, but it's not so much a fight. It's just that the different ideas will be competing for attention and competing for acceptance. Now, somehow, the team must identify and consider all the possibilities they can. And I stress this because the temptation is to rush to some conclusion. That doesn't work too well. If you get the right one, it's great. You save yourself a lot of time. But the probability is it will be a decision that you will have to undo later and redo. So you might as well take the time at the start to consider all the possibilities and compete. Now, as I said, their premature agreement will come back to haunt you. So let the storm rage a bit. Let all the ideas compete, and then everybody make a decision about which one. The norming stage is when the storming's been done and there's starting to be agreement on the different decisions you have to make. So in this, gradually the team builds up a mental model of the team itself and how it's going to function. Now, there'll be more about mental models later. The norming stage doesn't conclude with answers to everything, but there's enough consensus to enable you to do something, which is the next stage, the performing stage. When sufficient issues have been resolved, the team will normally start working without inappropriate conflict or the need for external supervision. You're actually starting to produce things. Conflicts are expected, they will happen, but they are dealt with. Teams can and do revert to previous stages. When something new comes up, some decision, you basically got to go through it again. So in summary then, the usual pattern of a team forming is to go through the 4 stages. The forming, norming, storming, norming, and performing. All right? You form, you debate all the ideas, you decide which ideas are okay, and then you start productive activity.